What's going on, everybody? Oh man, it's gonna be a funny time, man. I didn't really want to do anything too serious on this show because God knows this whole Pillowgate thing was so silly. It was really hard for me to take it seriously. What's going on, everybody? But I thought I would just talk about it. It took me a long time to just even get to a point where I could even wrap my head around what this stuff was talking about. It was just so silly to me, but we'll get started here in a moment. Let some more people come into the room. Bubba Jubba. How you doing, Bubba? Cool. Thanks for coming from Australia. Donovan Johnson from Louisiana. How you doing, Donovan? Thanks for joining the show, bro. Australia. Wow. Now I've talked to one other person from Australia. He was a pretty interesting dude. He was cool. And I asked him if he would maybe come on and we could have a Google Hangout, but he never got back with me. So maybe it'll happen. Maybe not. We'll see. If you guys could come in and like the video, just so we can get some more people in. Liking the video will allow YouTube to get some more people and make them aware of the show. So please like the video if you can. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time to check out my videos, Donovan. I really do, man. Appreciate it, man. All we can do is try to help each other through this crazy stuff that we've all been through, man. So I really appreciate it. Thank you again for coming in and checking it out, man. So yeah, I think we all are aware of these Pillowgate videos about what it takes to get into Bethel and all the things that they ask everybody to do in order to be a quote unquote clean person at Bethel. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I really don't want to be too serious because this content is so stupid. There's some seriousness in it, but at the same time, it's just so ridiculous and silly. So I've just assembled a few clips. Well, pretty much all of the one that's talking to the brothers. I may do another stream and talk about the one that was for the sisters, but not being a woman, I really don't know how it is from a female standpoint. Yeah, let me just explain. I guess John Hill. Hey, how you doing, John Hill? I remember you, bro. Yeah, the Pillowgate scandal thing was what we're about to discuss. How the people at Bethel are all in everyone's bedrooms about what they do in the bedroom and all kind of crazy stuff, bro. So we'll get into it. And if anybody has anything they want to say or chime in, if they know anything about anything more than what I'm going to talk about, because I don't know everything with it. But I'm just going to play these videos and we can all just get together and have a good laugh about some of it, because some of it is really serious and ridiculous. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and I'll start with this first clip, man. I'm not going to I didn't prepare any deep translations or an analysis of this. But there's a lot that can be unpacked, and there's some that, it's just pretty obvious how stupid it is. But let's just jump in, man. We'll start with this first clip. Now, let me just preface it a little bit. This is basically the video that they show to everybody who is coming into Bethel, right? So if you've kissed enough ass and done enough quote unquote good things in order to be considered somebody that can be a member of Bethel, then you'll get there and then they'll show you this video. And this video is about all the stuff that they allow and all the stuff that they don't allow at Bethel. Basically talking about the way you dress, the way you talk to the sisters, the way you conduct yourself in private by yourself, and the way you conduct yourself around other brothers. So anyway, let's just jump right in. And it's about, it took me a while to prepare this whole thing today because I had to chop this video up into about 30 clips. So we'll just go ahead and jump right in. And here we go.
The first way you can do this is by avoiding tight-fitting clothes that can identify you with homosexuality. What kind of clothes are we talking about? Some outfits are designed to feminize a man's appearance, as homosexuals try to do, especially displaying the buttocks and genitals. Why? Because it makes it harder to tell the difference between a homosexual and a heterosexual man, making homosexuals blend in.
Yeah. So they started immediately talking about that stuff, wearing tight clothes. We know we've seen all these videos from that guy that's on that tight clothes kick. That's a member of the governing body, the one that talks about wearing tight clothes all the time and how the end is going to be a bunch of dead bodies everywhere and how everybody's going to be traumatized and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. They mentioned a whole lot about homosexuality in this video and wearing tight clothes and things like that. And I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Oh yeah, Donovan, it gets a whole lot worse, bro. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I do, to an extent, I do believe that there is some type of thing that people are doing to effeminize guys. Tight pants Tony, that's what I'm talking about. Mike D, thank you, bro. And I think, any guy, you can see the trends, the way things are going. A lot of dudes are wearing, like skinny jeans and tight clothes and even some of the rapper dudes are wearing like dresses and stuff like that. And, being a guy that I'm not really down with wearing, clothes that are really effeminate and things like that. I can see that point to a bit. I can say to an extent, I agree with some of that, because if anybody catches me in some skin tight pants, you just can go ahead and just shoot me in the face, because something has went terribly wrong in my life. Because you're not gonna catch me in those skinny jeans and those skin tight pants, but I don't think homosexuals are out here trying to blend in like invasions of the body snatchers or something like that. It seems pretty obvious that they want everybody to know who they are and respect them for who they are as people. So I don't know. I do know where it's coming from. They're just doing that fear mongering that they always do. So yeah, it's about to be a crazy conversation, but we'll go ahead and go to the next one.
Bethel is a holy place.
Now I just made a quick clip of that. I don't understand how they get to the point to even say that Bethel is a holy place. Says who? I mean, how do you just get to come and say this place is a holy place, especially when you've already admitted that God doesn't inspire you or talk to you at all? You can just say it's a holy place. Why? Why? Because you keep it clean. I mean, that doesn't mean it's a holy place. But anyway, we know how they do. Let's just keep going.
So these clothes contribute to changing people's opinion of homosexuality because they come to see it as normal and acceptable. We know that you never intentionally promote that practice, but the question is, how would Jehovah view a man that serves him while dressed in a way that identifies him with homosexuality? Let's read Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, and get his feelings on this. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5 says, "A woman must not put on the clothing of a man, nor should a man wear the clothing of a woman. For anyone doing so is detestable to Jehovah your God." So, what does Jehovah think of styles of dress that make a man look more feminine? Clearly, this is very displeasing to him.
So yeah, I guess now you can pretty much get sent to hell, I guess, quote unquote hell, for wearing clothes that make you look feminine. And again, I'm not gonna bash them too hard for that statement, because I personally just don't agree with dudes being real effeminate. I do think there's some type of conspiracy to try to make men a little bit more like less masculine. I feel like we need some more guys to kind of step up and be like old school masculine men, but yeah, I'm not gonna bash them too hard for that. I don't know specifically though what God says, or what God considers like too tight, or hey, I will let you in the kingdom of heaven, but your pants was a couple inches too tight. I mean, who knows? It's just them being them. But anyway, let's keep it going.
Does the way you dress show that you share his viewpoint? There's another factor to take into account. What effect could your dressing in this way have on your brothers and sisters? These clothes are designed to sexually excite both men and women. Of course, it's not your fault if someone else decides to nurture bad thoughts, but you wouldn't want to spark a wrong desire in others or be responsible for making it harder for them to resist bad thoughts.
Yeah. This one is about this whole video is about brothers. So as much as I know, being a man, we've all as men have probably worked with women at some point that wore something that made you distracted, where you see something that a woman's wearing and you notice her in an outfit and it's distracting. But in this video, it seems like they are talking about brothers wearing things to intentionally entice brothers. I think he's talking slow like that because he's probably embarrassed about what he's talking about, for one, and two, I guess he's trying to make sure that he gets it right because he probably doesn't want to do it again. He's probably like, I do not want to repeat myself saying this bullshit. So I'm going to say it as slowly, as succinctly as possible so that everybody gets the point the first time.
A second way you need to keep on guard is resisting the unclean habit of masturbation. The God's Love book explains that masturbation is the stroking or rubbing of the genital organs, commonly resulting in an orgasm. So, does a person have to use their hands to masturbate? For example, say a brother wears an undergarment that's so tight it rubs his penis as he moves around. He gets aroused and even ejaculates. Is he masturbating?
What in the whole hell is this dude talking about? What the hell are masturbation pants? Like, for real, are there like some pants that people are wearing just so they can walk around and masturbate at the same time? What the hell is this dude talking about? Like, someone intentionally wakes up in the morning, like a dude wakes up in the morning and says, well, let me put these pants on so I can basically jack off all day while I'm walking. Like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Oh yeah, they're all sexually repressed. I mean, if for you to come up with an idea that you can wear some pants that make you like jack off all day while you're walking, I mean, what kind of person that has sex regularly would even come up with something like that? What type of person that has sex regularly would even want to wear pants that are literally jacking you off all day? After a while, that would get real uncomfortable. You can only do it so many times, bro. Anyway, yeah, let's keep this going, man. It gets so crazy. If you haven't, I'm surprised that I'm showing this video to someone who hasn't seen it. It's so funny to me that I'm actually being able to sit with some people that haven't seen this and show it. But let's keep it going because we're only 5 clips in and we have 30, so it gets crazier, guys. Let's keep it going.
Yes, he is, because he's deliberately stimulating his genitals, even though he's not using his hands. Does there have to be an orgasm for it to be considered masturbation? Suppose a brother starts rubbing his genitals against a pillow. He gets an erection, but stops before having an orgasm. Is he masturbating? Yes, again, because he's deliberately stimulating himself, whether he has an orgasm or not.
So yeah. So anyway, now they're defining the terms of what masturbation is and what masturbation isn't. So if you, by some stroke of luck, were able to get a hold to some masturbation pants and you went around and wore said masturbation pants and you ejaculated as a result of wearing said masturbation pants, then you would have to go straight to hell. But before you got to hell, you would have to get the hell out of Bethel. So yeah, no masturbation pants.
How about having an emission of semen at night, maybe even after an erotic dream? Is that masturbation? No. Jehovah made that a part of a man's reproductive system, and it happens without any deliberate stimulation. But even so, when this happens to you, it would be good to examine whether you were dwelling on sexual thoughts before going to sleep.
Now this is crazy. This dude just said, this is how ridiculous these people are. This dude just said a nocturnal emission is something that God made and it's a natural occurrence. But then immediately after that, he says, but if you had one, you probably want to make sure you wasn't looking at something crazy before you went to sleep. So they basically just said right then, we know God made this a natural thing for you to do with your body. But forget about what God said. I say, and the other 7 dudes that's picked out of the 8 billion people on the planet to serve God, exclusively, we all think that even though God made you able to do this and he made this for you in case, you're not having sex so that sperm doesn't explode your testicles, he made that for you to happen, but we want you to check yourself anyway because God might have made a mistake and you might have been looking at something crazy before you went to bed. That's how much these people want to control you. This is how badly they want to exercise their control over people. Let's keep going.
Could you have been sleeping in a position that stimulated you, such as with a blanket or pillow held tightly between your legs? If you're honest with yourself about these matters, it will help you to avoid falling into unclean practices.
All right, so now you can't even sleep right. Like you can sleep wrong, and it will make you masturbate. Just the way you sleep. If you sleep with a pillow between your legs, you gotta get the fuck out of Bethel because you're masturbating. I don't care. They don't care what you're saying. We don't care if you're doing it just to make sure your spine is in the proper alignment. We don't care, if that's just the way you sleep at night. If you sleep with a pillow between your legs, you have to gather your belongings and get the hell out of Bethel.
Masturbation contaminates a man with selfishness, it weakens his self-control, and it makes him believe that sex doesn't have to be related to love. It also fills a Christian with guilt.
So masturbation makes you selfish, even though a lot of times guys masturbate before they have sex with a woman so they can last longer. So that's not selfish. Also, if we just gonna be honest, I think we all know that one, there's nothing wrong with masturbation, and two, masturbation has probably kept millions of people from doing really dumb stuff. I know everybody's watching this has had at one point in their life the opportunity to do something that they know was not a good idea. And the only thing that kept you from doing that thing with that person that you know that you really should not be doing that thing with was the fact that you were able to go somewhere and rub one out. And then when you get your senses back, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't do what I was going to do. Thank God for masturbation. No, everybody has had one of those instances. All right, let's keep this thing going, man.
Trying to keep your service to Jehovah holy while under the influence of masturbation is like trying to climb a mountain with a large boulder that you're carrying. Until you free yourself of it, it can only hold you back. What have you done to cultivate a deep disgust for this practice so as to keep yourself clean?
Yeah. Let's just keep this going. Actually,
Trying to keep your
let's keep
service
it one more
to
time.
Jehovah holy while under the influence of masturbation is like trying to climb a mountain with a large boulder that you're carrying. Until you free yourself of it, it can only hold you back. What have you done to cultivate a deep disgust for this practice so as to keep yourself clean?
That's what I thought was, what I noticed about this one I thought was pretty crazy was how they talk to you as if you're reading a Watchtower magazine. You know how in the Watchtower magazines they'll read a paragraph and then they have questions and they ask you these really obvious questions that were in the magazines. That is basically how he's talking to you. He's like saying something and then he's basically asking a question so that you can reflect on what he just said and answer the question correctly. It's like they're always programming people when they talk to anybody.
Our third point, don't let yourself become contaminated with pornography. Satan's world is in love with it in all its forms. But as you know, pornography in any form is not tolerated at Bethel.
Well, that immediately disqualifies me from Bethel. I'm immediately disqualified because, I don't have a problem with porn. I think porn is cool. Let's keep going.
Think of the following situation. While in the bathroom, a brother starts browsing through a list of recommended pictures and videos on a social media app on his phone. He comes across provocative pictures of men or women. Some may be topless and some may be nude. He doesn't tap on them, but he does keep looking and starts to masturbate. Now, did this brother truly stumble upon pornography by accident? Or could
Kinda.
it be that he was browsing in a place where he actually hoped to find something sexually arousing?
So he gives an illustration of somebody who accidentally stumbles onto pornography and then asks if the person accidentally stumbled on pornography. I mean, that illustration, yeah, the dude totally stumbled upon the pornography. I mean, it just so happened, I guess, that he was in the bathroom and in a place where he could totally masturbate if he wanted to. But it still seems as if this person in this instance totally accidentally stumbled upon pornography. I mean, I don't even know how possible that is. I don't think I've ever been, online and searching for specs of the new Galaxy Note 9 and ran into like Galaxy Note 9 porn, where I was like, oh no, I'm trying to find some information about this Galaxy Note 9, but I guess I need to watch this porn to find out more about the phone. I mean, you don't really accidentally stumble on the porn. You either kind of look for it or you don't. But in the instance he gave, I mean, this dude pretty much basically accidentally found some porn. I guess it happens every day somewhere.
Either way, he needs to examine himself honestly, don't you think? Maybe it would be best for him not to use the internet while isolated from others. What precautions can you take to avoid such a situation?
There's another instance of them talking like the Watchtower magazine, asking you to answer the questions based on what he just said. It's really ridiculous.
Could certain types of entertainment expose you to the contamination of pornography, even if they're not, strictly speaking, pornographic? Suppose a brother is watching a TV program for mature audiences that contains a sex scene. Now, the scene is shot from an angle so that you can't see the intimate parts of either person. But he replays it several times and gets aroused. Is he keeping himself clean from the influence of pornography? There may not be any visible nudity, but that scene is definitely designed to arouse the person viewing it, and that's why he's viewing it over and over. He needs to work on hating what is bad. What steps do you take to avoid entertainment that could lead you to pornography?
And there they go. They're keeping it up. What steps do you take? How do you feel? What can you do? I mean, basically, any show on TV at any point is going to have a sex scene in it. And so I feel like they're basically telling people that you can't watch hardly anything. You have to be mindful of every single thing you're watching all the time, because all of it's bad. All of it is liable to have a sex scene in it, and it's liable to make you a masturbating zombie. So, it's really ridiculous, but let's just keep going.
Romans 6, verse 13 explains why we have to keep on guard in this matter. It says, "Neither go on presenting your bodies to sin as weapons of unrighteousness, but present yourselves to God as those alive from the dead, also your bodies to God as weapons of righteousness." Did you notice that a person can present their body to sin, or they can present it to Jehovah, but not both at the same time? If a Christian deliberately presents his eyes to pornography, any worship he renders to Jehovah, no matter how hard he works with the rest of his body, is no longer holy.
So I don't know how that works. I don't know how long your I don't know what the statute of limitations is for masturbation and not being acceptable to God. Like, I don't know how long between masturbation attacks you have to go before God's like, all right, you cool now. Like, if you masturbate like on Thursday, if by Sunday you try to like do something for God, is he gonna be like, nah, bro, you just jacked off Thursday, so I can't rock with you right now. Like, I don't really understand how that works. But yeah, let's just keep going.
Jehovah simply does not consent to share our hearts with pornography. Does your heartfelt love for Jehovah move you to keep on guard and avoid disappointing him?
More programming.
Next, we'd like to examine with you 4 ways in which all of us have to keep on guard in our conduct with others. First, it's necessary to avoid flirting, whether the other person is single or married. Now, what would you describe as flirting? Put simply, it's treating someone as if you're interested in marriage when you're really not. How can you tell the difference between just displaying personal interest, pursuing an honorable courtship, and flirting? Well, a lot depends on what your intentions are. For example, a single brother compliments an outgoing single commuter sister on the way she dresses at work. On another occasion, he mentions her new hairstyle. From time to time, he sends her a text message to check that she arrived home safely. Is he just displaying personal interest? His comments go beyond being concerned for her well-being, don't they? He's even telling her that he finds her attractive. She would definitely be justified in concluding that he has romantic interest in her. Is he flirting? If he's actually interested in a possible courtship, his actions may not be wrong. But if not, he would reasonably be viewed as flirting.
So you can't really tell anybody they look nice. You can't tell anybody you like their hair. You can't tell anybody or check on anybody, text them to see if they got home okay. Because if you do, you will be flirting, according to this dude. So anytime you say anything nice to anybody, it means that you are ready to marry that person. So if you tell somebody, hey, I like your hair, she's going to be like, well, if you ain't trying to marry me, don't talk about my hair. Or if you like, well, text me to make sure you get home okay. Can you text me so I know you got home okay? And then they're going to be like, I'm not letting you. Why you want me to let you know if I made it home okay? Are you flirting? Like, it's so ridiculous. It's almost like they want everybody to just not do anything. Like, don't talk to the sisters that way at all. Don't acknowledge that this woman is a woman. Anyway, let's keep it going, y'all.
Could persons of the same sex start to flirt?
What? Wait,
Consider
what?
a situation. A group of single brothers has a meal together, and after most leave, 2 of them remain behind in the room drinking alcohol.
Okay.
At one point, one asks the other if he has ever woken up with an erection. Their conversation starts to touch on sexual matters. Are they flirting? Their conversation can arouse sexual desires in them, even though they're of the same sex. This could easily lead to comments or curiosity about each other's bodies. Don't deceive yourself thinking this could never happen.
That's gonna never happen.
Keep in mind that alcohol tends to lower your inhibitions and can make thoughts that you'd normally suppress or view as repulsive seem acceptable, even inviting.
Huh? Now look, let's just be real now. It ain't no way in hell, unless you are already gay, that you just gonna wake up one day and be like, yo, dog, uh, you ever wake up with an erection? Like, I have like 6 male friends. They my boys. We hang out. If any one of us was to be like, bro, you ever wake up with an erection? That dude would be out of the clique immediately. Immediately, if not sooner. We'd be like, gather your belongings and get the hell out of here. Not now, but right now. Like, and 2, it's a stupid question because every man has woken up with an erection. Hopefully, if you've never woken up with an erection, that means there is something seriously wrong with your phallus. So it's a pretty stupid question. Anyway, let me just take a quick break, man. Where we at? Clip 17. Let me look at this chat, see who's in here, man. What's up, Free Monique? Hey guys, I don't know if you have not looked at her channel, check out Free Monique, man. She is, as she told me, she is the Cardi B of the XJWs. She and I are gonna do an interview next week, next Thursday. We were gonna do it this week, but she couldn't get the miracle week to me in time. I asked her, I told her, if you're going to interview me, I'm going to need you to go find Charles Russell's grave and find out where he keeps all the miracle wheat, because her brother needs some wheat. So we are going to do a hangout next week. It's going to be fire because she is the Cardi B of rap. The Cardi B of XJWs. Right? Free Monique is making like... Right, I know you didn't say it. Somebody told her that she's the Cardi B of the XJW. She didn't say it. But yeah, Free Monique, she's got a bunch of stuff on her chest right now. She just got a lot of stuff that she needs to get off her chest. And that junk is so real. What she is saying is so on point. So I ran across her videos and I was like, I really would like to have a conversation with her, because she has a lot to talk about, because I was never a pioneer, but she was a pioneer. So she has a lot to talk about. So this is going to be a great interview. So guys, tune in. I will go ahead and schedule it so that you guys will be able to just go ahead and set a reminder for it. But it's going to be next Thursday at 7:30, unless somebody else is getting married. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming in, joining the show tonight. If you can, please like, so we can get more people into the hangout with us. Make this show as funny as possible, because I swear the content just gets worse. This video gets so much more gay. So I think there's a lot going on at Bethel that we don't know about. So yeah. Yeah. So if you guys want to follow me on social media, you can find me at KFitsMyLife on Instagram, KFitsMyLife on Facebook. If you want to support the channel, you can be a patron. You can join on Patreon at Patreon/KFits. Of course, you can super chat. But yeah. So let's move this on. I think we are on clip 18. Yeah, so let's keep this crazy train going, man.
What if a sister is married? Should you feel you can be more affectionate with a married sister than you would with one who's single? For example, a young single brother is adopted by a couple at Bethel. and he regularly spends time with them. The wife, who's 4 or 5 years older, hugs him affectionately in public and views him as her little brother. He goes to their room frequently, even when the husband isn't there. And he feels comfortable talking to the sister, even about his problems. He claims they're like family. Is this appropriate? No, this is dangerous. Neither one of them is immune to becoming emotionally attached to the person who is dedicating so much time and attention to them. Of course, there is nothing wrong with becoming friends with more mature couples at Bethel. But keep in mind that a married person belongs to their mate. A sister's husband has the right to expect that he will be her closest friend and the only one giving her romantic attention.
Now, I'm going to talk about something. I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but I remember this. I'm 43, so I was in the organization the first 25 years of my life. So there was this now, and if you remember this, hit one on the in the chat. Just give me a 1 if you remember this jump. There was this big scandal because there was this rampant wife swapping going on in the organization. They found out that all these brothers and elders were doing all this wife swapping. They would, like that TV show Wife Swap, the JWs had that show a long time ago, except they were doing it for real. They instead of having the kingdom ministry, they had the swingdom ministry. These dudes was going in. They was like, you know what? I already had my wife. I want to try your wife. And he was like, oh, okay, brother. Well, I already had my wife. I want to try your wife. So then they would literally have these. They used to have the meetings at people's homes. Like when I was little, we ended up having a book study at my house at one time. And so they would have these book study meetings. And then afterwards, I guess one of them would be like, hey, brother Johnson, could you and your wife stay after so, we can have a shepherding call to make sure that, everything is okay with you two. And he'd be like, sure, Brother Jackson, me and my wife would love a shepherding call. And then that turned into all of this rampant swinging going on in the organization. Yeah, Ray, wife swap, bro. Wife swap. And it got to the point where it got so bad that they gave a talk that went out to all the Kingdom Halls on the same day. Remember when they used to give these special talks that would be given across the board everywhere? So they gave a talk about wife swapping. They even have it in one of the old Watchtowers. I'll try to find it and I'll make a video about that. But they were talking about it in the magazine as well. So this might be talking about that, but who knows what's going on at Bethel? I mean, you have all these people pent up. Ain't no telling how much stuff is going on at Bethel. And what year was this, Fitz? Man, I can't remember what year it was. You know what, Mia T? I will find the watchtowers that was about, and I'll do a video on it, because if I'm saying it, I got the receipts to prove it. I can have the receipts to show what I'm talking about. But it was rampant. It was bad. Well, I mean, it wasn't bad for them. They were obviously having a great time. They probably was great. They probably blew off a lot of steams, since there was so. Red Boy, thank you, Red Boy. Appreciate you. Because, even for a while back then, they were even telling people how they could have sex. They were telling people that you could only have sex in the missionary position, and anything else you were doing too much. It was dirty and nasty. And I remember overhearing sisters. It was sisters. Oh, Mia T, your parents skinny dip with other couples? Oh shit. Mia, you're gonna have to call in. Let me go ahead and open up Skype real quick. Mia T just sold out her parents. She was like, well, I know my parents went skinny dipping with other couples. They was probably supposed to be doing the day's text. They was doing the day's sext. Mia T put them on blast. Yeah, my parents skinny dip with other couples. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if all witnesses still abide by that, Red Boy, but there was a long time when they were literally in people's bedrooms and they were telling people how they could have sex, and sex other than the missionary position was considered like defiling and dirty. Like you couldn't do anything extra, like fellatio, all that, anything other than straight up, let me look right at your eyeballs until I have an orgasm. You were doing too much. So yeah. So the rabbit hole gets deeper, guys. Let's keep going.
A second area we want to draw your attention to is the need to keep on guard against sexting and sexually explicit video chatting. Sexting can mean sending sexually explicit messages or even improper photos or videos by some electronic means. This is especially important to keep in mind when you're romantically interested in a sister. Jehovah created men and women in such a way that the more time they spend together, the more attracted to each other they feel. That's really a wonderful gift from Jehovah. Because of it, an honorable courtship can fan what starts out as a romantic spark into the flame of joy, a love that lasts a lifetime and keeps growing. But keeping in constant contact with a sister you're interested in and without taking the proper precautions can be like throwing gasoline on that spark, turning it into something destructive. For example, can you see how the brother in the following situation has let his guard down? While video chatting with his girlfriend, they start making some references to sexual subjects. He ends up becoming aroused, and after they finish their conversation, he masturbates. The next time they speak, the conversation goes further and becomes sexually explicit. Now, both
Imagine
start
that.
masturbating while connected, but without exposing themselves to one another. Now, obviously, at this point, both need to get help from the elders because their conversations are becoming more and more unclean.
So you can have a girlfriend. You can't talk to her about sex. You can't masturbate. You can't jack yourself off. She can't jack off. You can't watch her jack off. You can't ask her to send you no tit pics. She can't ask you to send her no dick pics. You are just gonna have absolutely no clue as to what this woman looks like naked, and she's gonna have no clue as to what you look like naked. You're not gonna have any idea of how sexually compatible you are with this person. Now, let's just be real about this. We all know that there are just some people that you are not sexually compatible with. You can be super cool with them and y'all can laugh and have a great time. But then when it's time to have sex, you find out that you guys have absolutely no chemistry. What are you going to do if you end up marrying somebody that you have absolutely no sexual chemistry with? I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to end up being like them sad ass Jehovah's Witnesses that we all saw every Sunday. Because all of them, excuse me, one second, I'm hitting up Mia T, let her know. Yeah, Mia, I'll just display the number to call here when I open up the phone line. But think about it, man. Like, there is absolutely no way that anybody in their right mind would get married to somebody without having sex with them. Like, there's no way I would marry. I would never, ever. I don't even understand how somebody that's like, that is like having, like betting on a game of spades with $1 million and you just going blind. Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, why would you ever conceive of thinking I'm going to spend the rest of my life with somebody that I have never seen naked and don't know if we have sexual chemistry with? That would be the dumbest thing in the world to do. I don't think anybody in their right mind would ever do that. Let's keep going.
They're on the express route to sexual immorality. But what should he have done to be on guard and not let things get to this point? At 1 Timothy 5, verse 2, Paul told Timothy to treat all his Christian sisters with all chasteness. You need to do the same, especially towards a sister you have a romantic interest in. Be aware of the danger and keep your conversations clean. Make spiritual matters a regular part of your communication. Avoid communicating late at night when you might be more likely to let your guard down.
When you might be more likely to be horny. Man, look. You can't tell somebody that has never had sex to try to keep your contact with somebody and away from nighttime, because if you have never had sex and you get a girlfriend, it don't matter if it is 2:37 in the afternoon. It don't matter if it's 9:41 in the morning. It don't matter if it's 4:56 or 6:21. They're gonna be horny. As soon as they see you, it's gonna be on. So it don't matter if it's at night or not. It really don't. You can't take somebody that's as sexually repressed as Jehovah's Witnesses and say, well, try not to talk to somebody at night. They are horny all day long. Or they might marry someone not knowing they are of the same sex. Shit, nowadays you are so right. Man, you're gonna have to start asking for a damn female and male. Let me see proof that you are indeed a female, please. I need to see identification. Goodness gracious. Anyway, that's a whole other video. Let's keep going. We're almost done.
In doing so, you demonstrate that you're a spiritual man capable of caring for your prospective mate's relationship with Jehovah. Next, we'd like to help you to clearly understand what the Bible means by the phrase sexual immorality, a very serious sin that can quickly destroy your relationship with Jehovah. In the Greek scriptures, that phrase is used to translate the original word porneia. What does that mean exactly? Porneia is sexual relations involving persons not married to each other. It includes acts such as oral sex, anal sex, and masturbating another person. It always involves deliberate manipulation of the genitals and at least one other person or animal.
Wait a minute. Um. Uh. Uh. So, are they catching people jacking off animals at Bethel? Like, why would you even entertain that sentence unless at some point somebody came around the corner and caught somebody like jacking off a camel or something? Like like Brother Johnson came around the corner and caught Brother Jackson, and he's like, bro, for real, you back here jacking off this camel? Do you know how long it took us to get this camel over here? And you back here jacking it off? Like, why would they even talk about an animal? But anyway, besides all that, right? I know, right? So besides all that, they listen all the shit you basically can't do. You can't have oral sex. You can't have anal sex. You can't masturbate each other. You can't masturbate yourself. You can't jack off a donkey. You can't do nothing sexual except like, it's just craziness. Let's just keep going. You jumping the gun on us, Mia T. Don't spoil the fun.
When a Christian commits porneia, the elders always have to provide assistance. Do the genitals of both need to be manipulated for there to be porneia, such as when two people have sexual intercourse? No, both oral sex and anal sex involve the manipulation of the genitals of only one person. Does manipulation of the genitals always involve the use of the hands? Not necessarily. For example, suppose a brother
Might have a
pays
fleshlight.
stripper to perform a lap dance that lasts several minutes. She grinds her clothed genitals on his leg while he's fully clothed. He becomes aroused, but doesn't ejaculate. Was that porneia? His genitals aren't being manipulated, and he's not touching the woman's genitals with his hands. However, he is committing porneia by allowing her to use his leg to stimulate her own genitals.
Okay. So now check this out. So I don't know how much money. I don't know this stanky leg. I don't know how much money people at Bethel make. But can you guys imagine the brothers at Bethel going to a strip club, right? And of course, the people at Bethel, they probably got them little dumbass. You remember the lame tags that you used to have to wear at the assembly and everything? And it seems like they probably wear them. So they probably go to the strip club with their damn name tag on, brother Jackson, Bethel, in the strip club. The first of all, how they gonna have some money to go to the strip club? They would not be bringing this junk up if it didn't happen. So some of these brothers at the damn Bethel been going to these strip clubs, right? They get in there with their little name tag on, Brother Johnson, Bethel, horny. Go to the strip club, pay these strippers. Brother's like, look, you can do it, you can dance for them, but don't do no damn porneia. You gonna mess around and get me disfellowship. So don't do no porneia, but you can just dance for me. The stripper probably, looking at him like, all right, brother, well, let me see if I can awake your watchtower. And so the stripper start, pushing all up on the brother. Now, what's gonna happen? Like, how do you find out that one of the Bethelites has been at the strip club? Who's snitching? Somebody snitching. or either somebody at the strip club too, and they want to move up in the Bethel ranks. So they're like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell on this dude. I'm gonna let him know I'm gonna move up. But just imagine how are they getting to strip clubs? Who's taking them? How are they getting money for strippers? Anyway, let's just keep going. This shit is crazy.
Can there be pornea without skin-to-skin contact? Say a brother lies down on top of his girlfriend while both are clothed and they simulate having sex. Are they committing pornea? They have their clothes on, but the genitals of both are being manipulated, so they've committed pornea whether a climax is reached or not.
I used to do that all the time. I had one girlfriend before I got married, and we actually never did it. But me and the woman I married, yeah, we did it a whole bunch of times. But like I said before, I didn't even have sex until I got accused of having sex. And so once I started getting accused of it, I was like, okay, well, if y'all gonna penalize me for it and I'm not even having it, I'm at least gonna start having it so I can know what it's like. I mean, if I'm already suffering the consequences, I might as well, experience the satisfaction. Anyway.
That means that even some provocative forms of dancing, such as when a man rhythmically rubs his pelvis against the buttocks of a woman as she rubs herself against him, can also amount to pornea.
Well, I'm already going straight to hell for that, because I think all of us have danced up on a woman before, so yeah, it's a wrap. Again, I don't know the statute of limitations, and I don't know how long you have to wait. So anyway.
What if a person fondles the genitals of another, but doesn't actually masturbate them? For example, a brother sits on the lap of one of his male friends. His friend puts his arm around his waist and at one point fondles his crotch over his clothes. Is that pornea? Although the second man didn't go as far as masturbating the first, he is deliberately stimulating his genitals. Because there's fondling, caressing, stroking, or rubbing involved, this act constitutes pornea.
Now, that act doesn't only constitute pornea. That act will constitute an ass whooping. Ain't no way to hell some dude just go sit in my damn lap without suffering consequences of said action. Now, see, a lot of this shit they talking about is only gonna happen if you are already gay. You just not gonna go to Bethel and just become gay. Like, this is gay people that they didn't know was gay that went to Bethel and was like, dude, this is gay heaven. It's nothing but dudes here. Like, this junk is so ridiculous. Like, these situations that he brings up are situations that never had. It's so weird, these situations that you guys remember how when you used to read the Watchtower or the Wake magazines, or when we were at the assemblies, and they would talk about these, they would give these examples of things that were like the most miraculous situations ever. You know what I mean? Like, there were brothers in Africa that were trying to reach the Kingdom Hall, but unbeknownst to them, a river appeared from nowhere in between their path from their home to the Kingdom Hall. And what were these brothers going to do? How were they going to get to the Kingdom Hall to serve Jehovah? One day, there was a lightning storm, and the lightning happened to strike a tree that was shaped exactly like a rope bridge. And the brothers were able to cross the rope bridge and make it to the Kingdom Hall. How glad we are that Jehovah does things to allow us to know that he loves us. You remember that bullshit? And I remember like reading that and hearing that, and you didn't say anything, but then later on when you get around your friends, you were like, man, that was some bullshit. That shit didn't happen for real. Somebody made that shit up. Like, come on, that didn't happen for real. But these situations that they're talking about now are like the same thing. These crazy these crazy situations that never happen, but they always talk about it, right? Did I hit that cadence? Did I hit that cadence on the free Monique? That's how it is, right? That's exactly how that's exactly how it is, right? All right, let's keep going. We're in the home stretch, guys. Like me and T said, yeah, the goal is coming up.
What of the following situation? Two brothers masturbate in front of each other, but without touching each other. Is it porneia? The answer is no, since neither is touching the other person. However, it is a flagrant disregard for Jehovah's laws and a serious sin that has to be addressed by the elders.
So y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that, right? This dude just gave an illustration. This dude just gave an illustration of two dudes jacking off in front of each other. They're not touching each other. They just jacking off in front of each other. So they are back. Now come on now. Now come on now. These dudes is sitting there like South Park. I don't know if y'all watch South Park, but there's an episode called Two Guys in a Hot Tub. And it was about it was about two dudes jacking off in front of each other. And they were so weird around each other after that. But obviously they wanted to do it. Like, who does this? Who does this? Like, let's just play that one more time. Hold on. Let me just.
What if
let's do this.
What if
Here we
the
go.
following situation?
Check this out.
Two brothers masturbate in front of each other, but without touching each other. Is it porneia? The answer is no, since neither is touching the other person. However, it is a flagrant disregard for Jehovah's laws and a serious sin that has to be addressed by the elders.
Now, I mean, now come on. Now, how does this even come out? Like, how do you find this? How do you find this shit out? Like, do they just end up feeling bad about it, and they were like, "Excuse me, Bro Johnson, you know, we need to talk to you real quick." And Bro Johnson like, "All right, let's go in a little room," because you know they're gonna have to take him into a little room and talk to him about this. And Bro Johnson like, you know, tell me what's going on. Did you hit a cat? I mean, what did you do? Did you throw away a Watchtower? And then the dude's like, actually, you know, me and Brother Turner jacked off in front of each other. We didn't touch each other. You know, he didn't touch my dick and I didn't touch his, but we kind of jacked off in front of each other. Like, what do you even say to something like that? Like, what's the treatment for that? What is the agreed upon treatment for said event? Like, are those two men going to be more concerned about whether or not they committed porneia? Because that's what he said. That's not porneia. So are they gonna go before the elder and be like, well, you know, is that pornea? And the elder is going to say, actually, it's not pornea. And the two dudes are like, whew, whew, thank goodness. And the elder's like, no, but we still got to deal with what you did. And the two dudes like, whoa, it don't matter. I'm just glad it's not pornea. Because I think, well, actually, what happens if you commit pornea? I mean, I don't know what the consequences for pornea are. Are they any different from the consequences of everything else? I mean, shit, smoking a cigarette will get you disfellowship. So, I mean, can it be what's worse than that? Like, anyway, let's keep it going.
Finally, to keep clean before Jehovah, you have to fight against homosexual behavior. You've surely noticed that we've mentioned several situations involving homosexuality throughout this talk. Why do you think that is? Satan is desperately promoting this perverted practice. It's no exaggeration to say that he's flooded his world with propaganda in favor of homosexuality. It's not realistic to think that you can't be affected by his efforts just because you serve at Bethel.
Let's just keep going.
At times, you may find yourself struggling with same-sex desires, or you may realize that others are doing so. That doesn't mean that you or they are homosexuals, but
actually, it does.
That you have to keep on guard to remain holy. How can you do this? Examine your conduct carefully and honestly so that you avoid situations that can foster homosexual desires.
Like what?
For example,
oh, here you go.
Do you avoid unnecessarily exposing yourself to others, such as when you're in the locker room? Are you always modest, even in front of your roommates? Do you have the habit of excessively touching other brothers, hugging them tightly, slapping their buttocks, rubbing them, giving them massages, and so on? Of course, at Bethel, you may sometimes have to use a community shower, and that means you may not be able to completely avoid being briefly undressed in front of other brothers.
Okay. Now check this out. Now check out what they just did right there. Check out what that dude that was just right here a minute ago. Check out what he just did. Check out what he just said. This dude just talked for the last 20 minutes about suppressing homosexual tendencies. Because they don't want you to have no homosexual tendencies, of course, right? And obviously it's a problem. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about it. So what do they do to help the people that they are so concerned with having sexual tendencies? They give them a community shower. Well, look, we don't want y'all having no homosexual thoughts, but get butt naked and take a shower in front of all the other dudes. Just go in there, get butt naked, get soapy, and take a shower in front of all these other dudes. And even though we having problems with homosexuals, don't be gay. Now, I ain't saying, I'm taking showers before, everybody's taking showers, in locker rooms. But the said locker rooms haven't had an issue with people turning gay automatically. So what are they doing? It would seem to me that if they have a problem with people coming to Bethel and turning gay, that they would somehow eliminate community showers. Since they have so much of a problem with people jacking off donkeys and camels, they wouldn't have no donkeys or camels there either. Since they have, so much problems with dudes masturbating in front of each other, I guess they wouldn't have no lotion around. I don't know. It just seems like they are breeding the very thing that they're trying to say that they have a problem with. I don't understand any of it, but let's just keep going. We're almost done.
In some cultures, it may be acceptable for two men to walk hand in hand, or local customs may permit the use of saunas while unclothed. But if you find yourself struggling with same-sex desires, It would be wise to honestly examine whether you need to make adjustments in your conduct with other brothers. Proverbs 6, verse 27 asks, "Can a man rake fire to his chest and not burn his garments?" The answer is no. Thus, to keep yourself clean from homosexual desires, you cannot put yourself in situations that could bring them to your heart. For instance, what do you think of the following situation? After exercising together, two single brothers go back to shower in a room. Afterwards, one gives the other, who's wearing only a towel, a massage. One or both of them get sexually aroused. They have put themselves in an extremely dangerous situation. Don't you agree?
This is not heterosexual behavior. This doesn't just happen. This don't just happen. Nobody just wakes up one day, hey bro, let's go take a shower and come out in towels and let me give you a massage. That shit don't happen, bro. Unless they was already giving each other massages before they got there. People don't just switch immediately like that. Let's go to Bethel. Oh, all of a sudden I'm gay. That don't happen, bro. All right, this is the last clip, and I'm gonna display this number so we can hear Mia Mia T's bedroom law story if she's still here.
Although Satan is waging war to influence people's thinking on the subject of homosexuality, Jehovah hasn't changed his view on the matter. Homosexuality is unholy and repugnant to Jehovah, and he will not tolerate it among his dedicated servants. Does your love for Jehovah move you to have the same view? We've identified several serious dangers which we have to keep on guard against to be clean before Jehovah. Of course, more is involved than just avoiding what's bad. What else do you need to do to keep your path clean? First,
what else is
have
there?
a regular program of meaningful Bible study. When you regularly spend time with Jehovah by means of your Bible study, it will make your love for him and his commandments grow. Obeying him will make you happy. Second, be honest about your weaknesses. Notice what the psalmist prayed in verses 36 and 37. Incline my heart to your reminders, not to selfish gain. Turn my eyes away from looking at what is worthless. Preserve me alive in your way. Did you notice that he recognized he needed Jehovah's help to incline his heart? In other words, to make him want to do what was right? Do as he did. Humbly acknowledge before Jehovah that you need his help to fight wrong desires. Be specific and tell him what they are, but then also act decisively. Turn your eyes away from worthless conduct and entertainment. Reject any wrong thought as soon as it comes to you. What should you do if you now realize that you are or have been involved in some type of unclean or questionable conduct, such as what we've considered? Frankly, you might be embarrassed and even afraid to ask for help.
Of course you're going to be embarrassed.
It's not uncommon.
And afraid.
But please think about what Psalm
And sore.
119, verse 176 says. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Search for your servant, for I have not forgotten your commandments. Like the psalmist, if you've been involved in unclean or questionable conduct, seek help from the elders right away. We love you and want to help you get on a clean path again. The governing body loves you too. It's our heartfelt prayer that you, our precious young brothers, will keep your path clean and joyfully walk in the law of Jehovah forever.
You know what's funny? And that's the last one, thank goodness. But nowhere in that scripture he read did it say anything about making sure you tell the elders that you was jacking off in front of another dude. I don't know where I do know where they get it from. That's just what they want to happen so they can. Anyway, that was Pillowgate, guys. So, Mia, if you are still there and you want to share with everyone your bedroom law story, I would love to hear it. The number is on the screen, 615-412-9335. I had to wait till I got to that screen because I don't remember the Skype number. I only use it when I have this call-in show, so I didn't really remember what it was. But if you still want to call in and tell us about your bedroom law story, yeah, the governing body, I know, right? So yeah, Mia, if you want to call in, the number is 615-412-9335. Otherwise, that's it, guys. If anybody else has anything that they want to add, oh, I think this might be her right now. Let's see what we got. Mia, is this you?
Yeah, it's me, Fitz. How you doing tonight?
I am amazing. It's good to hear you. How's everything going?
You tackled a good one. I think this is going to be better than the John Cedars version.
Man, this junk is so crazy. I really wanted to talk about it a long time ago, but I just couldn't take it seriously, man. It's so silly. You know what I'm saying? So
I know. Did you I don't know how much time you got left to do this, but
I'm fine. I got plenty of time.
Oh, cool. I don't know if you ever heard Rick Farron talk about this when he went to the meetups there in Pennsylvania.
No, I haven't. What was that about?
Oh my God! Well, you know Rick Farron. He's the guy that does the Six Screen show.
No, I don't know that. I've not heard that show.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Catch up with him on Facebook. And every Saturday night, he does a program that even he's got Romy on there, who was on the A&E show.
Okay.
And a bunch of very cool people. The show usually runs either from 4:30 or 5:30 in the afternoon until, sometimes if they get going, they can be on there until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
Wow. Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, well, he's been doing this for about 13 years, and he's pretty interesting fella. He and his wife were both of the anointed class.
Oh, really?
And when I forget which one of them woke up first. I think it was her. She started questioning because the whole anointed thing really changed how she felt about the teachings of the Watchtower.
Okay.
And so then he sort of came along in a similar one, but he also has a very interesting experience of being invited to Bethel, where he was actually being considered as one of the new governing body members.
Okay. Wow.
So, but yeah, very interesting person to meet. But anyway, so that was funny. He does give a very interesting talk about it. And the only reason that I mention this is because he and I grew up in the same circuit in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so, and he and his wife were 3 or 4 years older than me.
Okay.
But anyway, so we were all about the same, newly married, trying to figure things out, because like you said, your experience with your partner is so limited.
Right.
Barely any kissing or anything, right?
Right.
I was lucky about that, but I guess I won't say that. It might be too gross for your show. I don't know. Seriously, my first husband was the cutest thing going, and he was so cute, and he would wear tight jeans, and yeah, I could tell what was going on under there.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, do what you gotta do, man. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You guys like to get up real close when you kiss. So yeah, I kind of figured everything out, and I knew I was going to be content.
Okay.
Didn't have to go all the way for that, so I just wanted to put that out there.
All right. Well, do your thing, Mia.
So we got married in December. Actually, it was New Year's Eve, 1972.
Okay.
And the articles had just come out explaining their first version of pornea.
Okay.
All right. So that one meant no oral sex, no anal sex, and no touching. And so it's like, well, wow, this is crazy, man. And so, I was like, where's the fun for me?
So wait a minute. You said no touching. You mean no touching during sex?
Yeah, no genital stimulation was permitted according to this article in the Watchtower. And I believe it was actually presented as a question to the readers, which was obviously they wouldn't do it as a study article.
Right. I remember this stuff, man. I mean, like I said, I remember these conversations that the sisters used to have. I mean, when back then when I was little, my dad wasn't in the organization. So
isn't that something, that children were exposed to these discussions
right.
just as innocent bystanders.
Exactly.
I mean, I look back at it now and I'm horrified.
Yeah. I mean, I heard all that stuff. I heard about the ways you could have sex. I heard about some of the sisters who were unsatisfied or dissatisfied with their husbands, and they would tell each other, well, all you have to do is just squeeze your pelvis real hard to hurry up and make him finish, and you don't have to do it no more. Like, I used to hear all these crazy conversations.
That's so true. I forgot about that,
Did you hear that?
I haven't been married in years. I'm 65 years old.
I remember hearing all that stuff, man. And I still remember even the Watchtower, or the magazines that had that stuff in. I remember the talks they used to give about. Do you remember they used to give that sex talk about everything that you should do before you have sex and before you get married, and how you should have sex and how you should think about other people, like women, how you should look at women when you're about to have. They would give this one sex talk every now and then, and it would be given across the board at all the congregations.
Yeah, it was kind of like the donation talks.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah, I know, and it would be always like, I really just, once I had a child, I did not want to attend that one.
Yeah, I still remember that when
because how do you explain that to a child, what's going on, and gosh, they're bored to death because they don't understand it, Well, the good thing about when they did it at the Kingdom Hall I was at was that the brother that they got to do it was old and senile. So he was fucking hilarious. He was saying everything that you wouldn't normally hear an elder say because he was old and senile. So it was probably the most fun talk I ever heard while I was in the organization. I wish you had that on tape. we always had the crazy old brother. I don't care. I've probably been in about 5 different Kingdom Halls. And there was always one crazy old brother would have to bring up about how much semen some horse has in the Bible, and I'd be like, holy cow,
how much
talking about that for?
How much semen some horse has in the Bible? What?
I don't know. This is crazy stuff, But it is when people are so repressed, it's like, where does your mind automatically go? It's like, you can't have ice cream. What do you want? You want ice cream.
Right. Right.
And that's what they do. So anyway, here's what was happening. Once they let that out, and I believe it was August of 1971 or 1972, and around about that time, I was 19 when I got married, so a lot of my friends had gotten married at the same time.
Okay.
Well, if they've discovered such as what you were talking about, which happened a lot, all of a sudden people are just not happy with their mate because obviously we didn't get private time to get to know them. We were kind of pushed into these little relationships. And so what was happening is more and more of them were saying, oh, well, he forced oral sex on me, or he made me have an orgasm, or whatever they were doing. And society was granting them fornication-free divorces so that they could remarry if they wanted to. Really? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what was happening at the time, is a lot of these newlyweds that I knew were getting scriptural divorces over this description that they had printed in the Watchtower of what constitutes pornea, which included, like doing nice things to help your wife enjoy it, which is really stupid. Okay, so I know this is a difficult conversation. I guess it's going to be rated R if it's not removed from YouTube.
Yeah, it's probably gonna go on my Patreon. I've already decided this is gonna be like my first Patreon video. So yeah, it's gonna go straight to Patreon. But so we're obviously talking about fellatio, right?
Well, it could be any orifice. So,
gotcha.
But anyway, so I guess this got back to the Watchtower Society, and that's when they changed everything about 3 or 4 years later. But they flip-flopped on that thing about, probably at least 3 or 4 times over the last 40 decades anyway. But, yeah, they did create a problem for themselves when they said this constitutes, scriptural divorce. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In 1978, okay, so this is like moving ahead a little bit, about 6 years into my marriage.
Okay.
And we had invited the circuit overseer and his wife over to our house for dinner.
Okay.
And I asked him about this because it was really concerning me about all my friends that were getting divorced. And, of course, when divorce happens, you kind of lose touch with your friends, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know whether they've fallen out of the truth over it or what's happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, because most of them, I felt pretty confident they were still in my circuit. He might know some of them. So I had asked him about this, and I said, "So, how do we deal with this when their position on the description of pornea or definition of it keeps changing?" He brought up, he said, well, back in the 50s, if a sister found out that she was married to a gay man and she had gone against what the Watchtower had prescribed at the time and divorced him and remarried, she would be disfellowship.
Really?
If she had remained faithful and waited for the Watchtower to catch up, then she would have been just fine. And you know what? I think that was a breaking moment for me.
And that's when did you leave at that time?
No, it took a while. I was pregnant. I did end up disfellowship when my daughter was less than a year old. But that is a whole different story. That was around the time that the whole Bethel shakeup occurred. And there was like a racing witch hunt for apostates. And I got wrapped up in that. I didn't know I was disfellowship for apostasy. I was told I was being disfellowship for having murder in my heart because I didn't like my husband too much at the time.
So you were disfellowship for having murder in your heart?
I swear to God. But when they sent in the paperwork to the society, because that's what they do, they keep records on everybody, and by then, they had started databases or whatever, however they were keeping records on everybody at Bethel, so that when I moved to another congregation with my husband and tried to get reinstated, they said, "Well, what were your apostate thoughts, Martha?"
Wow.
I know. I was shot to death, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Wow.
Except for questioning the pornea and my friends all getting divorces, I don't think I'm an apostate.
Wow.
Of course, I'm flaming now, but
right. So they put that on your you got a strike on your permanent record, huh?
Oh God. Well, I did find out 3 strikes and you're out. If you get brought before for fornication or adultery a third time, that you would definitely be disfellowship.
Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the Watchtower has a 3-strike rule,
and you're out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Unless they really have a hurt against you.
Right.
It kind of depends on the people on your judicial committee, but yeah, that's kind of a standing one, especially when they're dealing with born-ins and raised-ins, because they know they're going to mess up.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know that. We're gonna have to. You brought up some good topics. We can have another show about it. I would like to do a show where we just talk about when people left, or if they were disfellowshipped, or their stories, because I know a lot of people that have really, really harsh stories about how they left the organization, and a lot of people really just want to. A lot of people have asked me personally if they could come on the show and just tell their story. So it would be nice to have a show where people just come on and we just tell their story so that people can hear them and they can be assured that they're okay because other people have done the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's therapeutic to tell your story, but it's also, you never know if there's someone out there going through the same thing that can relate.
Exactly. And can tell you something about how they dealt with it or are dealing with it if that person may not be able to deal with it. So there's always somebody that has been through it and say, hey, this is how I dealt with that situation. This might help you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Well, even going through everything that I did, and it was pretty horrific. I mean, my husband was disfellowshipped the second year that we were married.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of ours turned him in for what they thought was shoplifting.
Wait.
Shoplifting.
He got this fellowship for shoplifting?
Yeah.
What did he steal? A house?
No, he worked at a department store in the night shift, buffing the floors, and I guess he got really tired of me having to fix his shirts, because I was literally, how they get worn out. And we were so poor. You know how pioneer Jehovah's Witnesses are. And so I was just taking the needle and trying to fix them like darning socks. And I guess he felt really embarrassed about it. So he stole some shirts. And then somebody said, well, nobody noticed that. Maybe we can steal some bigger stuff.
Boy, y'all on a trip, man.
Yeah, but it turned out to be kind of bad. So anyway.
So wait a minute. Before you get out of here, I can't let you get off the hook without talking about this. Your parents going skinny dipping with other couple stuff that you mentioned. What was that all about?
Oh well, we had a 110-acre farm. So, yeah, you're not going to believe this because I'll bet you live in a warm climate. We lived in New Hampshire, okay, and we had a 110-acre farm, and my dad traveled a lot, but my mother's whole life, she had converted when she was in her 20s as a Jehovah's Witness. She got baptized in 1958.
Okay.
And anyway, one of the big things she wanted was a swimming pool, which I thought was ridiculous, because, hey, it's New Hampshire. It's only, warm enough to swim in 1 month out of the year.
Okay.
But anyway, a lot of the people that she made friends with at the Kingdom Hall would come up because we had a 26-room farmhouse.
Okay.
So there was plenty of room for them to bring all their kids. And, we just fixed spaghetti and chocolate cake and set to go, and the kids could do whatever we wanted. They did whatever they really did whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they did. They all skinny dipped.
And there were no consequences for that?
I never told anybody.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think any of the other kids did either, because I don't think that we thought anything of it. I mean, listen what Gary Burroughs said. Two brothers can, sit across the room from each other and twiddle away, and that's not pornea.
Twiddle. Oh, yeah, I guess not. I guess.
I know, that's shocking.
Well, Mia, thank you so much for calling. This has been the most entertaining show that I have done to date, and it's all because of this story. I really appreciate you calling it and sharing that with me, for real. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome, Fitz. We'll get together again.
Definitely. I'll talk to you soon.
Okie doke.
All right,
Good night.
Good night. Man, that was hilarious. Mia is the best. Thanks for sharing your story, Mia. That was good stuff, guys. Mike D said your congregation was the shit. Oh man. Well, hey guys, thank you all so much for watching the show, man. Thanks for Free Monique for coming through. And looking forward, guys, please join us for that show, because I have a feeling that show is going to be amazing. That's going to be a great one. I'm really looking forward to talking with her. So thanks for coming through, everybody. Mia, thank you so much for calling. And everybody, thanks for just actually being really active in the chat. It made the show so much more fun to actually be able to sit and interact with everybody. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to do another show this Thursday. And I think I'm going to try to get, while I was Ubering one day, I met a guy that was in a different cult, and he went through some things that were so horrific. And when I had him in the car, I was like, man, would you be willing to come on my show and talk and tell your story? Because, you know, this organization is not the only organization that does this type of things, this type of thing to people. There are other organizations out there that do the same thing, and in a different way. So I need to call him and set the show up, but he said that he would be willing to do it. So hopefully I can have him on the show this Thursday. And I'm going to try to do a live show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30, guys. So if you're available, come out and join me. I really appreciate it. I always enjoy talking to you guys and interacting with you all. And thanks so much for supporting me and supporting the channel. I'm just trying to do everything I can to just get out there and help as many people as possible. Again, I do talk about a lot of JW things, but I also talk about other things on my channel. Like one of the guys, Ty, said earlier, I talk about a lot of self-improvement things, because I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of things in my life, of, you know, just not just being a JW, but, you know, being homeless. Even like in the last show, I talked about mental illness running in the family. Like there's a lot of things that, the K Fits Kingdom Hall Thursday at 7:30. I appreciate you, Dave. You're hilarious, bro. You have been on a roll tonight, Dave. You almost all your comments have been hilarious. We need to start calling you Hilarious, Dave. But yeah, I try to help people in a lot of different ways, not just with the JW stuff.